All right, Maria, go.
Well, I don't know. That's about 30,000 feet up there, and I'm just trying to make a living. And these college kids, they need some food and some water. How was that?
He's as silly looking as you'd imagine on the video. That's very good, by the way. He reminds me a little bit of my grandma on my dad's side, because my grandma was from Arkansas, and she my wife could actually do a pretty good impersonation, but she said, "Here, Kate.
We are all doing life, but who knew life could be this funny? It's Doing Life with Maria and Chad, our podcast.
I'm learning, Maria, that this is birthday month. You know, my birthday's coming up on April 23rd. This past Friday, we were invited to not one, but two birthday parties. And we were trying to figure out how to make it to both of them. The timing seemed like it was okay. But at the first birthday party, there was an amazing surprise that you got to hear about that it may make you a little bit jealous. But I'll tell you what happened at both birthday parties and so much more on today's podcast.
Can't wait. I finally got away with my husband for a weekend. It has been, I don't know, forever.
Is this like a Bonnie and Clyde situation? Did you guys rob a bank? Where'd you go away? Where were you trying to escape from?
Well, you know, during this pandemic, we started thinking about where can we go in Arizona,
right?
Like when things free up. And there's a million places we've never been. We've never been to Antelope Canyon. We had never been to Bisbee. I've never been to Tombstone, never been to Kartchner Caverns, all these great places that are right here in our backyard. Mm-hmm. So I was like, you know what? Bisbee, it's relatively inexpensive. Let's go there. So I booked a room at the Bisbee Grand Hotel. Uh-huh. And they're all themed. And so we picked the blue room. And we get up early Saturday morning and we drive down to Bisbee and we go through Tombstone. So we stopped at Tombstone, had a beer. I actually bought it this time. I didn't steal it. A glass from Big Nose Kate's saloon or whatever.
I've been to Tombstone and you hit the highlight. That's the best thing in Tombstone, at least in my opinion. But yeah, that's a great place. I love that spot.
We went into the bird cage too because I wanted to hear the history of it.
Yep.
And I wanted to pay the extra money to actually go downstairs and see all the stuff. And husband was like, "We're not going to pay $30 for us to do that." Blah.
Right. It does add up. It's very touristy, that town.
But we did do a beer there and it was okay. You know, I was just like, I want the glass.
Yeah.
I'm not going to steal it. And it was only $4. Okay. So whatever. So
this is all about growth, Maria. You're not stealing silver glassware from bars anymore. I like it.
So we spent, 30 minutes in Tucson or in Tombstone and then headed over to Bisbee.
Yeah.
And it is the coolest town ever.
You liked it?
Now, it does shut down at like 8 o'clock.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. That's good to know. Yeah.
Like 8, 9 o'clock. Like there's not a whole lot to do other than maybe, look at the old buildings, drive around, maybe do some shopping. But basically the bars close down at about 9.
Wow. Okay. Good to know.
It's not a late night thing at all.
Huh.
But we stayed at the Bisbee Grand Hotel and we find it and we park and you have to check in at the bar in the saloon,
nice.
Which is hilarious. So you go up to the bar and you're like, yeah, I need to check in. And the bartender goes, okay, looks you up on the computer, sees that you've paid and hands you keys.
Yeah.
Like there's not a key card, but there is keys. And there's 2 keys because you have to leave the saloon and go next door and unlock a door to get in. And then you go up the stairs and then there's another key for your room. It was so quaint and so cool. I mean, it was really, really fun. And the sink in our room was next to the bed.
Okay,
and in the bathroom,
you walk in, the bed's on your right hand side. Is it a double bed? Like, I mean, do you have room? Is it like a European hotel?
It was like a queen. No, it was a queen bed, I think.
Okay.
So there's a queen bed with a sink right next to it.
Yeah.
And there's no air conditioning or anything, so the window's open. And then you have to go around the other side of the bed and you walk up a step to go to the restroom. And then there's a shower and a little closet.
Okay.
And the first thing I said was, Eric, this step is going to be a problem because we're going to be drunk by the end of the day and we're going to be stumbling into the bathroom.
Well, Bisbee was way ahead of you on that. They just closed the bars at 9 and they're like, you're good. This step will not be a problem for you.
So anyway, it was super fun. I mean, the low lights were the Mexican restaurant I really wanted to go to was closed.
Okay.
And so we ate at this other place. I'm not going to name the names because I don't want to bash them or anything, but it was like, it was okay.
Yeah. Okay.
We went to the Speakeasy. It was called the Bisbee Social Club. And the bartender bragged a lot about how long he's worked there. And he has 20 years experience in bartending, but he made a shitty drink and it was overpriced. So that was like kind of crappy.
Okay.
But like, it was super fun because we had something to talk about. It was fun. And yes, we made a little whoopee, but then we weren't so drunk that
Didn't
we fell
ask.
asleep.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Well,
Didn't ask.
No. But then the cool part was, though, we
Yeah.
kind of laid around and talked, and like it was just a really, really good time, and I can't wait to go back. Oh, and you asked about the stairs before I left, the 1,000 stairs.
Yeah.
We saw the stairs. And I think we went up one big old flight and it was like maybe 150 or 160 stairs. Uh-huh. It was cool, but we did not do the whole 1,000. That's for another day when we're not drinking.
Right. No, yeah. I mean, that's like a whole thing. I don't think they have a race up there. I think it's like a fundraiser thing once a year. Did you hear about that when you were there?
Yeah, there were signs. It's in October.
October. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So some of the locals, though, I think they're local or people who live close by anyway. We were walking the stairs and they do it every Saturday.
Huh. Okay.
Like that's their little exercise.
Little go-getters.
Yeah. So along the same lines, I think everybody's been to Bisbee and they all have their own story. And I sold a piece of furniture on Facebook Marketplace and this woman Shannon comes to pick it up. Uh-huh. And, we're talking, their boys are loading and we're talking and mentioned Bisbee. And she goes, oh, my husband and I went to Bisbee for our first anniversary. And she proceeds to tell this story. So they're drunk and they walk into a tattoo parlor.
Okay.
And she's like, let's get tattoos. And the tattoo artist is like, you're drunk. I can't do it when you're drunk. Sorry. Okay. So the next morning she wakes up and says to her husband, all right, you ready for tattoos? And he goes, I thought you were joking and we're just drunk. And she goes, oh no, we're going to go get them. So they go to the tattoo parlor and the husband can't decide what he wants and he's looking and whatever. So he decides he's going to get Odie, the Garfield dog.
Oh, yeah, the yellow dog. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's going to get it on his shoulder.
Okay.
So the tattoo artist, according to Shannon, is this huge biker looking guy and he's got tattoos on his bald head and he's just, biker looking tattoo guy.
Yeah.
And so her husband is in the chair getting this tattoo and all of a sudden this passenger van pulls up and all these kids, like teenagers, roll out of this van. She goes, there's like 15 of them. Shannon goes, it was a clown car. These kids just kept piling out of this van. And they look like maybe they were, how did she put it? I can't think of how she put it, but like maybe troubled kids, like they're in a home and trying to get better kind of thing.
Okay.
And they walk into the tattoo parlor and they're like, dude, what are you getting? What kind of tattoo are you getting? And he's now embarrassed. The husband is now embarrassed. He's like, Odie. And the kids are like, you mean the Garfield dog? Fuck, man. And they're like, kind of giving him a hard time.
Yeah.
And the big tattoo artist stops and says, don't fuck with Odie.
That's good. That's a random tattoo. I mean, when did they get to? How long ago was this?
Oh,
must have been a while
probably,
ago.
Yeah, 15, 20 years ago, probably. I mean, they were, my husband's in my age, probably.
Yeah.
But the picture she painted was so hilarious because what guy gets Odie,
Right, you don't even go with Garfield. It's like, Garfield's friend, please. Maybe a plate of lasagna while you're at it. That's so
But it was a great story. It's typical, it's typical Bisbee. I mean, I can see the tattoo guy doing that. It was great.
We went to a birthday party, actually 2 birthday parties. We were double booked on Friday, and it was good. It was fine because the one party started at 6 and the other one started at 8. We're like, okay, we'll go by at 6 and then we'll move on to the other one. Right. Second party was at a speakeasy, kind of like what you described. So we were looking forward to going to do that and pay too much for drinks and all that. So the first party started at 6 and it was like our friends have 2 different garden plots in a public garden. And they had hired musicians to come and play like a BYOB happy hour. It was a really cute idea. They spend way too much of their life with this garden. They have flowers and vegetables and the whole deal. And so we're like, okay, we'll do that. And then we'll go to the other birthday party. So we show up and we're talking to our friends. And this guy's singing and it's really nice. And he's kind of like... He does country songs, but it's kind of on the order of Harry Connick Jr., if that makes sense.
Okay.
But he's really good. And they saw him at some wine bar. They got his card and they hired him for $100 an hour to come and play. And we're like, this is great. All right, we're going to get out of here on time. We're going to go to the birthday party. So as the night goes on, I'm talking, this is a 2-hour period. They said, there's another musician coming after that. If you guys want to stick around, I think you probably should. You'll like it. And I'm going to play you a little clip. I recorded this with my cell phone of who came to play in this garden and made us late for the second birthday party. Americano. Had no idea. It was...
I am so jealous.
I have chills right now. I was so surprised. For people that don't know who that is Roger Klein. And it was him and PH, his drummer.
Yeah.
Both came. They used the same equipment as the first guy, so it was kind of a trick. Like, nobody knew, including the birthday girl. She is a big fan, and her boyfriend organized this whole thing and surprised everybody. It was crazy. Like,
oh my gosh, that is the best boyfriend ever.
So it kind of worked out because obviously COVID, that band hasn't been able to tour as much. So I think they're looking to make extra money wherever they can. And they're practicing for a bunch of shows they're going to have in Mexico and that sort of thing. So they came and PH, the drummer, played for free because he hadn't had a chance to play with Roger. So it all worked out. It was just like a really nice surprise. And we still made it to the second birthday party. We weren't too late. But I was thinking of you, and that's actually why I recorded that video. I was going to send it to you, but I also didn't want to be a jerk going, hey, look at this cool thing that we're doing. Like it seemed like, I don't know. It wasn't anything that I had to do with. I just showed up and it happened. Like it was just like such a nice surprise. So
I would not have been, well, I would have been jealous, but I would not have been like looked down on you for saying, oh my God, Roger Klein is here.
So another funny thing, so obviously you and I know him from interviewing him on the radio and over the years getting to know him. I didn't even talk to him. Like he saw me and waved at me, you know, he knew that I was there. But with COVID, like he tries to stay away from people now, right? Because I don't think he's gotten the vaccine yet. So it was kind of neat to just be a fan and just sit there. And we had our lawn chairs and literally we're sitting next to the flowers that our friend planted. And it was just a really cool surprise for her birthday. So I wanted to share that with you. Also this weekend we had Easter. How was your Easter, Maria?
Well, what's funny is we were obviously gone for Easter morning. Mm-hmm. We're not a big, I mean, I was raised Catholic, but other than doing the Easter bunny stuff, we don't really celebrate the Christian part of it. Mm-hmm. So anyway, my daughter is watching the house while we're in Bisbee, and she starts complaining before we left. Well, so you guys are going to be gone for Easter? What about my Easter basket? And we're like, you're being a brat.
And your daughter's 22?
Yes. Yeah, it's not like she's 8.
Right. You know? Yeah.
But I had already planned on hiding some things around the house for her, things that weren't going to melt. There were 3 different gifts. And so on our way to Bisbee, I wrote little poems and little like clues as to where these gifts were. So anyway, Easter morning, I'm like, there's 3 gifts, you know, you got to go find them. She goes, well, do I get hints? And so anyway, I don't have the poems in front of me, so I can't tell them. Yeah. But one was in the dryer. The chocolate was in the dryer because that's where my dad always hid my Easter basket.
Really?
Yes. Like without fail. Always the dryer. And so that was part of one of the clues was, you know, mom's told this story a million times about dad, blah, blah, blah. One was in the cooler. There was a big jar of Jelly Bellies in the cooler outside. Okay. And then the last was a basket that had some candy and a game, Never Have I Ever, that game.
Oh, okay.
And I put that in a bucket underneath the grill. So anyway, it was kind of fun for her, I think, even though we weren't there, because I was like, all right, here's your clue. Let me know when you find it. Here's your next clue. And so she kind of walked around the house. And I thought that was kind of fun.
I'm all for people keeping traditions, even though she's 22. You know, I think if she's into it, you should be into it. Our daughter is not 22 yet. She's 15. And the Easter Bunny came to our house as well. And this may not surprise you, but she did not have any eggs this year. There were no eggs hidden around the house. But that said, she did have a basket. That basket was found in... Do you want to complete my sentence?
The dryer?
The dryer.
Oh, my God.
But it wasn't that easy. So she got frustrated because she couldn't find it. And she looked everywhere and places I never would have thought that the Easter Bunny would have thought to put the basket. That said, it was in the dryer behind a load of towels. So she had to move the towel. So she looked in there, but she didn't see it. So we really had to play the hot cold game, if you're familiar, you know.
Yeah.
We had to kind of narrow it down.
I'm telling you, our lives run parallel.
I
mean, this is like the weirdest thing.
Well, it's funny. I would have never... the Easter Bunny? Maybe the Easter Bunny's out of ideas. I think that's maybe what's going on here. Let's do an update on the vaccine, because it's a big thing going on right now. And I still am amazed at friends of mine that I really call friends that are like, I'm not going to get it. I'm like, okay, that's you. But that being said, I did get my second vaccine shot last week since we last talked, and I was achy. It was the Pfizer one. And for like 24 hours, I kind of felt like garbage. And then, of course, you have like where the shot goes in, it's kind of sore and tender. But now I'm good to go. And I know, didn't you get your shot since we last did a podcast?
Yeah, I had mine. Mine was just a one-shotter.
Okay.
I didn't have to get the two. A lot of people said, and because I already had COVID, they said that when you get the vaccine, at least this particular one, you feel poopy, like you said, the next day.
Yeah.
I was fine, aside from my arm being sore and like some headaches.
Yeah.
But like light headaches, like at the base of my skull kind of headaches. Like those are usually tension headaches. I mean, I was fine.
Well, stop me if I talked about this on the last podcast, because I can't remember, about how to hydrate prior to getting the vaccine. I drank, so I have, I'm holding this up to the camera so you can see. I had a 40-ounce hydro flask, right? I drank 4 of those of water the day before, or the day of, so that I was plenty hydrated. And the day before, I worked out like crazy at the gym to the point where I was sore, because I was told that that's good for recovery and not having side effects. I still felt like garbage. So, but I'm happy that I'm vaccinated and whatever. So I can move on from that. I wanted to also update you on my latest podcast. Actually, today, a new podcast came out. I have a separate podcast from the one that you and I do. It's called That Just Happened. And I've been getting all these messages from people that are confused. They're trying to sign up on like Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts and Spotify and that sort of thing. It's a subscription-based podcast where you got to go to a special website and then you can listen to it on your favorite podcast player. But I want to play you a clip of my latest one, and I want you to listen very carefully. But let me set it up. There's the story is a guy in Tennessee was kind of overseeing a public swimming place. It's like a quarry, right? You know, a quarry like full of water, really pretty. It's actually called Blue Cove Hideaway. And so he was interviewed on the news because people were getting injured. Actually, a couple people drowned. And he was making a profit off of it, kind of, because he was selling concessions there, because it was a place where people gathered and he had hot dogs and soda or whatever. But listen to this, and then I want you to listen to his interview on TV. And at the end of it, I want you to impersonate him, because I know you're like a master impersonator, an improv specialist. All right, here we go. Here we go. Now, he was interviewed by a TV station in Chattanooga, and for a variety of reasons, people could not believe his interview.
I just trying to help these high school kids and college kids because they ain't got no money.
But Womack says he's not changing any of his rules here, despite the 2 tragic deaths.
You don't put no lifeguard in the lake. And a lifeguard might have been way over here, and that's probably 2,000 or 3,000 feet up there when something happens in.
All right, Maria, go.
Well, I don't know. That's about 30,000 feet up there, and I'm just trying to make a living. And these college kids, they need some food and some water. How was that?
He's as silly looking as you'd imagine on the video. That's very good, by the way. He reminds me a little bit of my grandma on my dad's side, because my grandma was from Arkansas. And my wife could actually do a pretty good impersonation, but she'd say, "Here, key." You know, she'd be calling her cats, and you know, she grew up out in the middle of nowhere, so that was the voice. But this guy's got such a high pitched voice and doesn't really articulate very well, as you heard. So, if you want to,
he also almost has a little whistle. Almost. There's almost a little whistle there.
There's definitely a whistle in there. You can hear it all. Go to my podcast page. It's patreon.com/TJH. So patreon.com/TJH, because the podcast is called That Just Happened. So I wanted to do that. Other thing, I want to talk about your work, Maria. One of your many jobs is Costco. And that's in the news today because of what was found in a bag of Costco carrots. So you probably heard the story about the Cinnamon Toast Crunch and the shrimp tails being found in the box. This is kind of like that, and it may be a prank. I hope it's not, because that would be horrible for the Costco carrots people. But this is her finding something in her carrots. Listen to this.
The best thing about Costco is you never know what to expect. You think you're getting something small, and it's just awesome. Check out these carrots I got. It came with a bat. Oh, and it's alive.
Okay. She says there was a bat in her carrots, and it's alive.
I think that's hooey. I don't believe that.
Give me your Costco expertise. Carrots are sold in a bag, right?
Well, we have the little mini carrots. Uh-huh. You know, the little...
How are they sealed, or how are they closed?
It's a 2-pack sealed in plastic with, they're like 2 for 1 kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then there's the big carrots that you'd have to peel and cut up or whatever. And those are sold in a clear plastic bag as well.
Are there air holes for bats to breathe?
No. Well, I mean, I guess the big one, it's loose on the top, but they're in a truck and and you would see the bat. I don't know how big this alleged bat was.
Yeah.
But you would see the bat in the bag.
All right. It is one of my biggest nightmares. I always worry about with produce finding like spiders. Yeah, not like a little bitty spider like a daddy long legs. I'm talking like tarantulas,
You're not going to find a tarantula.
Well, I'll tell you what. If I did, Costco or whoever sold it to me would hear about it.
The final question.
We give you out our phone number. It's 424-235-3657. This is a good one. You can answer it, and anyone that has a mouth can answer this question today. Question is, if you had to name your dog after the last thing you ate, what would your dog's name be?
Coffee.
Coffee's the last thing you ate?
Oh, the last thing I ate?
Yeah.
I would say my new dog would be named Chocolate Easter Egg.
Chocolate Easter Egg. Is this something left over from the Easter Bunny?
Yeah, like the little Cadbury, not the ones with the filling, but like the little, almost like an M&M Cadbury. So I would name him Cadbury.
Side note, have you noticed the Cadbury eggs have gotten smaller?
Yes.
What's up with that?
I don't know. And my husband's very disappointed because he loves those Cadbury eggs.
Conspiracy. I'll tell you, man. When I was a kid, they were like larger than my head, or at least I thought they were.
I think maybe you just have gotten bigger and your mouth has gotten bigger and they've stayed the same size.
You may be onto something. My answer for this, last thing I ate, name my dog Apple Fritter.
Cute.
My daughter bought, or my wife and daughter went to the grocery store. They bought these apple fritters. And so when I took my daughter to school today, we had an apple fritter together. So that is the last thing I ate. I want to read some of these comments off of the Maria and Chad Facebook page. Sue said her dog would be named Ham Steak.
Ham steak?
Elaine said Raisin. Julie said Hummus would be the name of her dog. Sarah said Banana. And my favorite, Linda, said Tater Salad. What is that comedian's name? I'm totally blanking on his name. He
Taters.
Call him Tater Salad.
Oh, the big guy.
Yeah, we all know who he's talking about.
Yeah.
All right, if you know the answer to that, or if you want to answer our final question, let me read it one more time. If you had to name your dog after the last thing you ate, what would your dog's name be? Call us now, 424-235-3657.
Thanks again for listening to Doing Life with Maria and Chad. Follow us on Instagram at Maria and Chad and Facebook. You can now listen on the iHeartRadio app, Spotify, the free Amazon Music app, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Pandora, Podbean, and of course, YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode.